Hi, everyone. I'm Jacob at Lemon Remodeling, and I'm here with my dear client, Michelle. We just finished her ADU, and the most important thing is we want to know what she thinks. So, Michelle, how are you?
I'm doing great, Jacob. Thank you. I'm super excited to be done with ADU. 3 years in, 2 years of permitting, because the city of Campbell tends to be a little bit slow about these things. But after 3 years, I'm definitely glad that we're done.
Yeah. So one thing that is actually unique about your project specifically is that you actually live on a historical property. So the permitting did take some time. We did have to go to 2 city council meetings. We had to petition the city to allow us to build the thing in the first place. But the first question I want to ask you is actually, what prompted you to want to build an ADU?
So as you know, initially my plan was to build a 2 to 3 car garage. But as you also know, the historic committee said that because I already had an existing garage structure on my property, which was, as you know, a horse...
A stable.
A horse stable. They said I couldn't build a 2-car garage on my property, and that if I was going to build something, it had to be an ADU. And so in thinking about it, I was like, well, maybe I should do that. That would bring a lot more value to my property and I'd still get my garage. But one of the things that, was important to me in choosing Lemon Remodeling is that when I told you I wanted to build the ADU facing out to the alley behind my house, you were willing to work with me. Because traditionally, most of the ADUs on this street and in the Campbell area face into the property. And of course, as you know, I have a driveway that I've turned into sort of like an entertainment area. So I wasn't willing to put a garage the whole way through my yard into, that part of the ADU that faces like where my property faces. And so your willingness to work with me on have the project the way I wanted it to be was super important. And again, that took more time because we had to get an exemption for the setback from the city council, but also, deal with the historic committee, which means keeping the main structure on the property, which means having the colors match, the wood panels on the outside of the property match, and all of the varying requirements that they have in terms of keeping it the same level and all of those things. So there's a lot of red tape we had to go through together. So 3 years was, we quite developed a relationship, I think, over that period of time and in working through all the different challenges that we faced along the way.
For sure, we definitely developed a strong relationship, I would say. So how would you say it was working with me throughout the process?
Yeah, from the beginning to the end. And helping get through the permitting process, which I think a lot of contractors probably don't want to deal with the city of Campbell because of all of the time delays. They're very rigid in their practices as compared to I think San Jose. So getting through that 2 years before you even got the first paycheck was a significant undertaking, I think, for Lemon Remodeling to commit to. And in continuing on to there, we started thinking about, fixtures from the beginning, and we basically talked on pretty much the daily via text or WhatsApp or email to, make sure we were making progress every day.
How would you say the process working with me on the design was, selecting the fixtures, finalizing those specific details, the paint color, trim, doors, cabinets, countertops, things like that?
Yeah, so you were willing to work with me because I have very particular tastes and I know what I like. And it's probably not as traditional as some other folks that you deal with in the Bay Area. So you gave me suggestions and sometimes I would take them, sometimes I wouldn't take them. And you were willing to understand my finances and, understand what I was working with and able to help me figure out the best solutions for me that also made the ADU look fantastic.
Well, thank you, Michelle. It was a pleasure working with you, absolute pleasure. And I hope to work with you again in the future.
I agree. Unless you're gonna help me build that bar in Mexico, maybe my last project, but we'll see. You never know ideas I'm gonna come up with next.
I'll be there. I'll be there for sure.